Black Ops 3 is the second most played COD game on Steam, and in today's video, I want to discuss why. Considering the game's awful reputation for security and risks to leaking your personal data and such, why are people still so committed to this game? And there's one simple answer: zombies. Today we're going to have a look at Black Ops 3, and I'm going to tell you why the game mode is still so strong despite how old it is and all the issues the game actually faces. One of the main reasons why Black Ops 3 still holds up today is that the base gameplay of the game is so freaking smooth, and still feels quite modern in today's standards. From the sliding to the gunplay to kind of everything that goes on in Black Ops 3, you're going to have a smooth experience. It's fluid and it feels good, which is important to any base game. The zombies themselves are intense, but not Black Ops 4 levels of intense. And once you gain a pretty good amount of game knowledge, you'll be running circles around these guys, literally. With everything you kind of come to know from zombies like perks, pack-a-punch, wall buys, all that stuff coming back and only adding on to it with systems like gobblegums and double pack, this game just builds on what COD Zombies was and doesn't really strip anything away like some of the future iterations. I'm not saying change is bad, change is a natural progression of anything in life or games or whatever you have to compare it to. But if something to its core isn't broken, why bother fixing it? Doesn't need fixed. Now we'll be moving on to the actual content of Black Ops 3 in terms of the base zombie maps. And a lot of the maps in this game are obviously DLC. The only base map we have in this game is Shadows of Evil. But if you're buying Black Ops 3 for zombies, you're going to be buying the zombies edition of the game to get access to all the maps, because there's tons of them. But our first map in this game, and my personal favorite, is Shadows of Evil. I think gameplay always comes first to a map, but when a story is so good that it just enhances that gameplay, I think it makes it such a better experience all around, and Shadows of Evil definitely has both. The settings of Shadows is in a city in the 1940s called Morgue City, where it introduces us to our four main characters: Nero Blackstone, Jack Vincent, Floyd Campbell, and Jessica Rose, and the supposed reason why they're all here is because they have sinned, just like the Shadow Man says, and he kind of wants them to help him, progress his plan of taking over the entire universe. But this map also has a celebrity cast. You'll know people like Jeff Goldblum, who, is just a big G. He's a cool guy. Not that I know him personally, but, I loved Independence Day. And Shadows of Evil, in terms of gameplay, introduces us to a few new things. First of all, a brand new perk called Widow's Wine, where if you get hit, you just kind of splooge spider webs around you to slow down zombies nearby. And also that introduces a new gobblegum system, which is essentially kind of like perks, but they're more time-based, where you have an ability for like a set round, or you get a certain amount of uses. Overall, it switches up the gameplay a lot, and it's very fun. Is it kind of broken in terms of a balancing perspective? As they added more into the game's life cycle, obviously, yeah. But you don't have to use them. In terms of high rounds, this map is a really fun map to go for high rounds on, as the wonder weapon's the Apothicon Servant, and it's the best wonder weapon, hands down it is. And the Easter egg is only 4-player, but on PC you can use a mod to do it solo, and it's a pretty good Easter egg. It flows pretty well with the map, but overall Shadows of Evil is an absolute banger of an experience. Moving on to the Giant. Now, this is just a remake of the Reese with a lot added in, like its own little Easter egg, and you're playing a supremacist crew, and obviously it's updated and stuff. It looks cool, soundtrack, all that good stuff. There's not really much in terms of innovation with this map. It's more just a fun small map. It's just the Reese, really. It's just the Reese, but with a few new twists and turns and such. If you like the original Reese, you'd like this. But moving on to the four main zombie maps of this game, we have Der Eisendrache, Zetsubo, Gorod Krovi, and Revelations. Obviously, Der Eisendrache is just a straight banger in terms of a zombies map. It's very Origins-esque from Black Ops 2, and it brings other features that players loved back in the day, like Mob of the Dead with the dog heads instead of dragons. It has 4 wonder weapons, a cool specialist weapon. The Easter egg is really fun, and all the Easter eggs going forward are solo as well, so you can do them by yourself or with friends. Probably the strongest map in the DLC season, but personal opinion obviously still a thing, so you might prefer other maps over this. And it is a pretty popular opinion to like Drak over Zetsubo and Golrod and Revelations. But Drak again is a straight banger. Moving on to Zetsubo. Zetsubo itself, in terms of gameplay, is pretty fun. It adds in a few new things like the plant feature. It has a wonder weapon that's very similar to this liquefier, but I'd say it looks a bit cooler. This map has multiple boss fights, which is, pretty cool. High rounds are relatively easy because of the specialist weapon, the skeleton and sapway, and obviously the KT4, which is kind of like this liquefier ripoff. It's a pretty good weapon. The Easter egg's pretty good, bar a few tedious steps, and the map is pretty big and expensive as well. The atmosphere in this map is overall really good. It's one of the things the map really nails. You're on a abandoned island, and it just has a very eerie feeling. Not to the same level as a Mob of the Dead, but you can't really compete with Alcatraz. But overall, Zetsubo is also a banger in terms of just sheer quality. Not exactly a fan favorite, but as time's gone on, people have, been a bit more nicer to it. Moving on to Golrod is very reminiscent of a simpler map. Design in terms of layout is relatively straightforward. You have your spawn room, you kind of have a main center HUD, and you have 3 outskirts that you can kind of go to. In terms to new additions to this map, they brought in the brand new ray gun Mark III. There's the dragon shield. You have the gauntlet specialist weapon, which is just OP. The story in this map's really good. The Easter egg is probably the most challenging in Black Ops 3 just due to some of the steps. But the boss fight in this game is absolutely insane. There's 2 boss fights in the final period, and it's just overall a really fun map. It also brings back the PPSH, which is, pretty cool, Big Chungus 100. Golrod yet again is another banger. Now, unfortunately, Black Ops 3 season ends off pretty weak with Revelations. It's not a bad map, but it's just we've seen everything in this map before, and it doesn't really add anything new in, but that's the main complaint about this map. It uses aspects of older maps to create one big map, and visually it's stunning, and it's a fun map to play, but it's also a really easy map and gets kind of boring. It's just like they put a bunch of old maps in a blender of a few wonder weapons that we had, and then give it this is what we got. But I wouldn't say it's a bad map. I think for a map to be truly awful, it has to have features that are glaringly just unfun and annoying, and this map doesn't really have them. You'd probably put it in C tier if you're ranking it in terms of, high rounds are really easy. The Easter egg is not the strongest, but it's an alright Easter egg. It's not god-awful. And yeah, that kind of does it for the main maps of this game. But obviously Black Ops 3 is very strongly known for Zombie Chronicles, which remastered a bunch of old maps and brought them into Black Ops 3. These maps being Nakter and Toten, Verrucht, Shino Numa, Keenan der Toten, Shangri-La, Moon, Origins, and Ascension. These maps are great for if you want some zombies nostalgia. Obviously they're just improved versions of previous maps, and they're added in a few new things here and there. Overall, Zombie Chronicles is a no-brainer for any zombies fan, and it's one of the main reasons why I believe people go back as well and play this game, because there's so much access on this game in terms of base zombie maps, where you're getting essentially half of the zombie maps made in this game. Obviously maps prior to Black Ops 3 and, Treyarch and all that. But Black Ops 3 to its core, as we've discussed, is a very strong game. But what pushes it over the limits and makes it so it's still so popular to this day? Because Black Ops 2 had really good maps, and so did Black Ops 1, but those games aren't played as much as Black Ops 3. And there's one simple answer, and that is customs. The reason that Black Ops 3 is so alive and strong is due to custom zombies being so popular, and there being such a hard-working, dedicated community to putting out these maps. You have essentially had every zombie map in Black Ops 3, and if it isn't in there, then they're working on it practically. I mean, you have Call of the Dead remastered, you have the Mob of the Dead remaster, you have Die Rise remastered, which has been so hyped up, and there's already announcements of new old maps being remade to be brought into Black Ops 3. Along with fun and goofy maps like Five Nights at Freddy's. Overall, it's just, there's so much you can play around with here, and so much free content that you can enjoy by yourself or with friends. And there's also mods as well, which can, enhance previous maps and switch things up a wee bit. But that is the biggest reason why Black Ops 3 is still so strong in terms of a zombies game, and why the player counts for this game are still so high. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you check out this video where I go over all the high rounds in World at War. Goodbye.